Welcome to Neon Lights Roleplay. We are live, and Danielle, take us away.
Howdy, hello, Chevra, and welcome to session 5 of Gelgelim, Yiddish fantasy gone rogue. I am super happy to be back after missing a week, unfortunately, and also we picked up an additional player in the time away. This is the wonderful Max, and I am so excited for y'all to get to know them as well as we've gotten to know them. Okay. Before we get started, we'll just do a quick round of introductions. Hi and hello, I am Danielle, she, they. I am the facilitator, and I made the setting that we're playing in. Let's go, I guess, top left to TJ, please.
Hi, I'm TJ. I go by he, him pronouns. I'm also playing Alexis, who goes by he, him pronouns.
Hey everybody, it's me, Sir Hecklot, and as per usual tonight, I am playing Eleonora, and the two of us use she, they pronouns.
Oh, hello there. It's me. Turk or Turk accented if you don't actually know who I am and it's just our first time meeting, have to be a bit formal. And I am playing Shawl. Both of us use he, him pronouns, and I'm very much looking forward to the session.
Hi, I am Janie. I play Layla. I think we both have she, they pronouns.
I am Max. I'm the new kid on the block here. I use he, they pronouns, and I am playing Asher in this game, who uses they, she, and he pronouns. Pretty much your pick.
All right, fantastic. Now we're going to do a little bit of recap. Before I get to that, you've seen, I'm sure, the Pin's cool Nightbot thing, but we do have a lovely website that's got a little summary of all of the people that we've met, some character bios, and a little bit of a recap of all of the things that have happened in the game up until now. The long form, and now for the condensed version as we get into the thick of things. So there we are. So when last we met, our wonderful Mishpacha here has come into Salspils in pursuit of, dealing with the ghost problem in the castle in the hope of potentially moving in and being safe in the face of a war that is looming over the Archbishopric over in Riga. And this ghost problem here in Salspils is kind of a bigger deal than they thought. There are a whole bunch of ghosts who are rising from the river every night, coming through and doing their terrifying ghost stuff. They've killed a priest, they've killed some soldiers, they haven't killed a lot of other people besides that, but they are just around, and they are very scary, and they do not seem to go away. Now, y'all, Mishpacha showed up on the scene and did a bunch of research, a little bit of digging, went to Herkholm, the small community across the way, found some wonderful church records that went back several hundred years to give you a little bit more context that, in fact, these ghosts are the spirits of, the indigenous people of Livonia fighting against Catholic crusaders who became the Catholic Church in the area and the Livonian Order, an order of crusading knights, who now occupy the space and the facilities. You discovered that these ghosts rose about a month ago after a priest cut his hands, and that blood sort of supernaturally sucked into the ground and activated their remains and encouraged the ghosts to rise up. That same seance sort of revealed to Layla that there might be a way of laying all of these spirits to rest if you could find a proper way of burying them. And Ivar's a community member who lives in Herkholm across the river, who seems to have some connection to those older indigenous ways, suggested fire. Lamentably, Comte Matthias, the local commander of the Livonian Order, has a very different idea. He believes very firmly that, in fact, the correct order of business is we need to find these remains, we need to dig them up, and then we need to baptize them to save their souls and redeem them in the eyes of the Lord, their God, even if they didn't want it and don't want it, but obviously they do need it. that brings us to about noonish on the 5th of March, 1630, when, well, a newcomer comes into town. We have Asher, who is spent about a day and a half traveling off, practicing medicine, as is their wont, has finally caught up to the family after dealing with a bit of an ergotism problem out in Pinky. You arrive on the scene. We have hundreds of soldiers who are out and about, sort of milling through the town area. The rest of the town buildings, the houses, the windows have all been boarded up and the doors have been reinforced. The people inside are out doing regular farming stuff as you do. It's on midday and a weekday. It's not a holy day. But there are a lot of soldiers all around, and your family are nowhere to be seen. Asher, what are you doing?
So if I'm to arrive to town because there's a lot of soldiers, is anyone like stopping and questioning people as they come and go, or am I allowed to come freely?
You are very welcome to come freely. The soldiers here are not, they're not like protecting or guarding the town. They look more like they're sort of milling around the town looking for something to do, but being very impressive about it. They're like, their chests are like, are like puffed up and posturing. You sense that there's a lot of bravado here. These men and women and other people have, like, they're making a much bigger show of it than like you're normally familiar with Crusaders doing.
Okay, so I think Asher's first thought is to not give them any of the attention that they want, and they are going to kind of take a casual loop and poke around kind of like places where I might expect the family to be, kind of like looking inside like open door frames, passing by, looking for familiar faces.
Absolutely. So you take a couple of minutes, and the soldiers really don't seem to pay you much attention at all. Now, Salisbury is not a particularly large community, and so it doesn't take you very much time at all to find most of the rest of your mishpacha milling around, just outside sort of the largest house in town, and also where the concentration of soldiers are at their thickest.
Sorry I'm late. And kind of stride up. Asher has like an absolute mess of curly hair that kind of never stays in one place, and they push it back and adjust to their glasses. I heard that there was a mess. What happened? Good to see you too.
Yeah, like Eleonora is going to be super excited to see you, and if Asher's fine with it, giving them a hug, and just like, yeah, just being like very ecstatic. It's like, it's so good to see you. Things are definitely a mess. We found some remains under this castle, and they are belonging to these ghosts that have been terrorizing the village, which is really not good. But what's also super not good is the priest and the order here are wanting to baptize those, which is going to make them really mad and probably undo everything we did to kind of stop the ghost from doing that for now. Did I miss anything? And Eleonora just kind of looks at everyone else.
Yeah, I'm not with that at all, though I am usually more skilled at people who are alive. Not as good with the ones that are already dead, but I'll do what I can.
Well, we need to figure out a way to distract the Livonian Order, or dig a hole faster than an entire religious order of people set on converting bodies. If we've learned anything, they are very determined. As a order.
Well, how big of a distraction are you looking for?
I'm not trying to get hurt. The last time we did anything too conspicuous, well, we're going to have to speak to the captain about having another member of our mishpok released. Understand?
And do we need an audience, an official request or anything like that?
No. We just need to have the town safe enough that we can safely come back here, like we are trying to do before.
Right. Makes
We
sense.
can manage that.
Like I said, I'm here to help clean up the mess.
Man, we are cleaning up our own mess just fine.
So, to sort of establish, the baptism plan requires the soldiers to find some of these remains. And as of yet, no one has, knows where to start digging, and it is, 6, 8, 10 feet of digging, straight down, which is something that is very challenging to do with only shovels and, people carrying, sacks of dirt or carts of dirt. So there is sort of a large issue of where do you start digging first that needs to get resolved before any baptism or anything else can happen with these bumps. So it is not immediately, the baptism is not imminent, but it is nearing.
Can Layla still sense where they are?
So when you used your ace or your touched by the arcane, you got a very strong sense of the earth and the relationship of things within the earth, but those relationships are more, they're not spatial relationships.
Okay.
The interior, physiological space of dirt, it's a very different understanding of space and spatial relationships compared to a person.
Okay.
So it's like you know where you're. It's like how if you get pricked on the back of your hand, you know exactly where it is, but it would be very hard to describe where it is in terms of inches or centimeters.
Okay.
So we have time. Have to, like I said, we have to beat a bunch of religious ordered soldiers who are very intent on seeing this matter laid to rest in their own way. Are highly motivated. Well, I don't suppose you have found any herbs that magically clear the earth in your travels, eh, Asher?
And they make a sort of a mostly empty gesture down at their component pouches. Not particularly, no.
The shelter.
However, they do need, they can't baptize something that's not there, and they also can't baptize without all of their materials, so if there's a way to obstruct their process, that would be ideal, no?
The hope is that we've already cremated the remains before they even get a sense of the place.
Yeah.
I would hope they're in the same place that you last found them.
We haven't found them. But
I thought
fun.
you had found them. Okay.
We have an idea of where they are. Not the exact location. Which it's working to our benefit right now that we don't know the exact location, because it's hindering them, but at the same time,
It's hindering us a little bit too, huh?
yeah.
Well, they are very determined. I wonder if we could maybe use that to our advantage. They want to follow all the rules, right? So what if there was some type of rule that would stop them from doing something, like a day that they can't practice something, I don't know, a feast day, or maybe they need special permission or something?
We go into their homes and mark every day on the calendar as Sunday. Very clever.
Now, there are some major feasts coming up. So the Memorial of the Martyrs Perpetua and Felicity is a Catholic and also Lutheran memorial, a sort of religious holiday, and that is in 2 days, the 7th of March. The next sort of big Catholic thing is the 18th of March, the memorial for Cyril of Jerusalem, which is probably a little bit further away than you would like it to be.
2 days. 2 days is a decent amount of time.
2 days of digging.
Yeah, so if it takes a while to find it, maybe we can.
That's,
They won't be able to
that's
dig it.
assuming they don't get lucky, though, as well.
Yeah.
He won't be able to dig at night.
So we bring the sun down faster. Very good.
Should I have
think
another vision?
What was that, Layla?
Should I have another vision and say that we have to wait until then?
You can try to pass it off as having another vision, but I would need you to roll to see how convincing you can be as a mystic here in the situation.
You'd better not try to pull too much, you know.
Yeah.
And I do want to let you know that, obviously, the consequences of being found out to be faking visions.
Is
Well,
bad.
these Catholic crusading knights are going to be less a fan of that, particularly given the high tensions with regard to ghosts. They're not going to kill you. That's not on the table. But they will be grumpy. They will be quite grumpy. Is that a hand?
Yes, I have an ace. I have sheer survival instincts. I don't know if I would be able to use that to aid the group in searching for the remains.
We're probably going to need a time to actually search the castle proper. Make sure if they're beneath it, we have a better way to get into it than the knights do.
So I don't see directly how sheer survival instincts relates to the situation, but I do want to point out that there are a number of magical herbs that have divinatory powers. I am looking here at the H's for Herbs section of the Tarot TBRPG from A to Z that I wrote. That's my plug. You're welcome. But something like Hazel has affiliations with divination. There are several others that have divinatory abilities as well.
I've already looked around a little bit for herbs. Why don't you? If you want, I can go show you the spots I had previously seen.
That's a good starting point. I don't see why not.
The rest of you, I don't know, think of something clever. You're a clever people. We're smarter than this. Just delay them a little. Or make them think twice about maybe digging right where you... If you can find out where the bodies are, and make them think somewhere else. But don't get in trouble. Don't need anyone else in a basement. Poor young.
It's been a couple days he's been down there. Okay, so to find herbs, I need one of two things. I either would need you to spend a use of the Trailcraft power to guarantee finding several herbs of anything but the major arcana, or we can make a roll for it, not in terms of major consequences, but in terms of how long it's going to take you to necessarily find some of these herbs.
I have Trailcraft, so I'll use it.
Sick.
I was gonna say I would be on my third use if you didn't. That would be awesome.
That's why I'm here.
Perfect. Great. Cool. So while I'm working with the rest of the folks, if you wanted to go through and find 3 different herbs, or if you wanted to double up and have multiple charges of a particular herb, that would be fine. Again, anything from the minor arcana is just fine.
Okay.
And while you do that, okay, so the remainder. What are you doing while Asher and Shawl are off foraging for helpful herbs?
That's a good question.
Well, normally I would be just trying to find a way to sleep or be lazy, but since this is kind of important, I can't do that.
Yeah, I think Eleonora will look over at Alexis and say, I think you actually did have your words had an influence on our priest. I think, oh, maybe if you talk to him again, we might be able to make him think about what we're doing moving forward.
I mean, if anything, he could delay the process a bit if they do get lucky and find them, but...
I mean, he
I
delayed just talking to the ghosts or dealing with the ghosts at all for weeks, was it?
Yeah. So but at the same time, I don't know how helpful he's going to be if he feels he's afraid at all. So I still think we should talk to him, find out if there is maybe another way to handle this so the Catholics aren't upset.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah, let's
that
do
is what we are doing then. Talking to Father Tomas.
It's all the way
Sounds
over
like
there. That's so far.
Well, you've got permission to relax and sleep.
Yeah.
Who knows? We may need you to have some more visions later. Need you in tip-top shape for that.
Yes, our visionary.
All right, cool. So, Eleanor and Alexis, you're going to go ahead off to find Father Tomas.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, Father Tomas, not super far away. So he is up in Salzbill's castle. He is at sort of the small altar, and he is down there, and he's praying. He's praying very devoutly. He does not hear you come in. He is muttering Latin under his breath.
Alexis would definitely approach him pretty quietly, not to instantly disturb him, but when he gets within a foot from him, he's like, Father Tomas, I need to speak with you.
Yeah, okay, the father's gonna sort of startle a little bit, he was not expecting anybody to be in here. He's like, yes, my son. Yes. What can I do for you?
So, have you heard the news?
Yes. Comte Matthias has asked for my help with the baptism, which of course I'm gonna offer. That seems like an excellent way to make this whole problem be resolved, put these ghosts to rest, and I can go back to my nice, quiet church in Kirchholm. It's gonna be lovely. I'm so excited to get this done, and right now I am just praying for guidance from God to see if I can get some to see if he will tell me where we should dig.
So I have a question for you though, Father. We've come to the conclusion that this started because a priest's blood was spilled, and that these people were upset for what the Catholics have done to them in the past. Do you think it's a good idea to baptize them, given what we know?
Well, Captain Matthias seems like this. He really thinks that this is the greatest thing to go. So he's gonna sort of bluster on about that a little bit. You get the sense this is still that same very grumpy, very scared man. He is trying so hard to be the better priest and the ideal version of a priest to hold it through this crisis, much as you inspired him to do so back in Kirchholm. And he's holding it together. If you wanted to rattle his cage and maybe make him back in that more fearful state, that's a thing that you can try to do either with the use of your heart power I believe, or just giving me a roll for it.
I'm not necessarily trying to rattle him yet. I am just talking to him right now. Depending on how this conversations go, maybe. But so, Father, I don't believe it's a good idea to baptize them. I actually have very strong indications that it'll make the situation worse. And by that, I mean the ghosts will be very angry about the attempt to baptize them.
I mean, I understand your concern, my child, but like, this is the only way to save them. And if we save them, like, that is a noble and powerful thing, and that will make these ghosts be put to rest. They might be a little like unquiet or upset potentially during the process. Like I have, you know, that might be a little rough, but I'm sure this will work. I am very positive. I believe in the Lord. My faith is strong. My will is strong. Captain Matthias and soldiers, our faith is strong. It's gonna work. Yeah. If you're gonna want to like disabuse them of that notion, I'm gonna need something. I'm gonna need something more committal than just persuasion.
All right. So I am actually going to use a power, and I'm gonna. Here's before I use it, I have a question regarding.
Please.
Questions.
Questions are great.
So is the question and the power being asked to that person, or is it being asked as like a general question that'll be answered?
That is a question that is being asked to me as the facilitator, that is giving you like intuitive knowledge. Answer the answer to that question.
Okay, so I am going to
English.
use the Decepo. I don't remember how it's pronounced.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Question, and it's what can I offer to convince you?
All right. Excellent use of that power. Now I have to like actually do some thinking. All right. So there are a couple of things that you could offer him. Like the first, or rather, things you could do to convince him that like this is in fact not a good idea. And like the biggest one is compromising his feeling of security and safety. Like as long as he feels relatively safe in like being surrounded by hundreds of soldiers, it's going to be hard to make him doubt. So yeah, if you can make him feel unsafe. Alternatively, if you can provide some sort of like more clear-cut like communication from the divine one way or another, like these are a lot of people who could really do with a miracle right now, and so if you offered a miracle that like pointed in a direction that was please do not baptize these people, like Father Tomas is probably going to go for that as well.
Okay, so I have an idea, but I'm going to see like what Alexis does first to kind of like Eleanor's move is going to depend on what sense of stability and sense of security is going to get shaken with Father Tomas.
So here's the thing. I'm going to talk about this beforehand. Okay. I kind of want to hear what you want to do, because my idea right now, based off that information, is to continue to use this power and create an illusionary ghost.
Okay, I like that. But if we are wanting to convince him that there is another way, like within the constraints of the faith and the scriptures, maybe convincing him that we could do something similar to driving out Legion. You know, we are Legion, we are many, by some other ritual, and then sending these ghosts out. Or at least that's what they're gonna think.
So
Like a biblical example.
I'm gonna sort of put a little bit of pressure on that, which is that like you're gonna need to find some like very Catholic feeling ritual that you can sort of repurpose into the actual like proper purification, because like these are while these people are very like while Father Tomas and the soldiers are very scared, they are also like keenly aware of like witchcraft and witchcraft being bad, and they don't want to do anything that could be construed as potentially being witchcraft. And so, like, I'm not saying that that is not that's not a feasible route, but there's going to be some additional work involved to find a way to present this as like a theologically viable, or not theology, but like theopraxically viable option.
Yeah, so that still feels like on the table for me if that's what we want to pursue, TJ.
Yeah, we can go that route. I think that's the better route.
Because like, aren't there a bunch of like old texts and stuff in the church that we could maybe look at? See if
Yes,
back in
they're
Kirchholm?
in Latin,
Yeah, back in
if I
Kirchholm.
remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Jan was the only one who could read Latin.
So that is not the case, actually. So I have done some wonderful like behind the scenes conversations with Layla and also with Max. These are both characters who would in fact also know Latin due to their backgrounds either as sort of a physics practitioner and as a student of medicine.
I like it. Very good.
So here's my thought process. It's either we could convince Father Tomas to go back and look for this, or we could just have the old man go back with him, go into the church, and look ourselves. I feel like it would be harder to convince Father Tomas to leave right now, feeling that since he is committed to his act, for lack of a better term. So, all right, that's good information. I think Alexis would, for a moment, look a bit disappointed, and then just like you kind of see that spark of an idea click in his eyes for a second. He's like, "Well, Father, I hope it works out well for you," and he will then proceed out.
Father, thank you, my son. You know, have Holy Spirit and all that stuff. I don't know what the direction is. I'm sorry.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Like, I went to Catholic school, folks.
Cool. Thank you, Heck. Appreciate you filling in for my gaps of knowledge. Perfect. Thank you both for showing me up my lack of knowledge about the Catholicism.
I learned it from Austin Powers, so.
Okay. Thank you, my son. Whatever. He's gonna go back to praying for guidance.
Yeah, as Alexis is walking out the door, he's gonna like bring Eleanor with him. He's like, "All right, he's gonna need something concrete. I think we should go back to the archives at the church. We're gonna have to bring Layla with us as well, since John is not available and Max is out looking for herbs right now. So
not Max, Asher.
Sorry,
Max,
Asher.
Max is the human. It's
Yep.
all good.
Yes, that's my name.
So yeah, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I have an
that's
idea.
the play.
Let's
Yeah.
do that.
And what was the old man's name? I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Ivars.
Because I know Ivar wants to get out of here as well, considering everything that's happened. So we might as well take him with us. Well, yeah. Round everybody up.
Cool. Perfect. Yeah, so you reconvene, we'll say probably initially by the large house, but then we'll have moved down closer to the sort of the what is it called? Place where all the boats are pulled up.
The docks?
Well, they're not technically docks, because like docks are like there's infrastructure and you build out into the water as opposed to pulling smaller boats up onto the sand, and it's different.
And was it like the bank? Like the
landing
The
area.
parking lot.
There's the boat parking lot that will do.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, Max. So you reconvene there. It's a lot quieter. There are a lot fewer soldiers around. This is the space where like the ghosts come up, and like soldiers are still not particularly keen on being around in this area. So what herbs, Asher and Shawl, what herbs did you find?
So I picked the 3 of these because they all have divination as a property, but they also have other properties that I thought were at least spiritually appropriate for what we are doing. So you have willow, which is, I lost it on the sheet. I have willow, dandelion, and hazel. So I picked hazel because it also has luck, which is also a good thing to have. Dandelion similarly has wishes and summoning, and we're looking for something. So I thought that was a good thing to have. And then where did willow go? Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, willow has ward also, and I was thinking of protecting the souls in which we are trying to protect from being baptized. So that was what I came up with.
Fantastic. Those sound like 3 good choices to me. Cool. All right. What do?
Well, we just make it work. No. So it doesn't take us too long, yeah?
Yeah, because you're using your power and like your like almost preternatural familiarity with the growing conditions of these plants based on like Shawl's earlier foraging expedition. It takes you like a couple of hours to do the traipsing around and everything, which is about as much time as it took everyone else to go hike to the castle, talk to the father, and return back. So we're talking like early afternoon, thereabouts.
Just on the walk back, Illness. You still remember how to use all those, yes?
It is quite literally my job.
Well, you have to be paid for it to be a job.
Other people pay me to do it, just not you guys.
Oh, aren't we so lucky? I don't suspect the ghosts to be paying very well either. We're just in this for the safety of the walls.
And safety is a different kind of payment. Not everything is necessarily monetary these days.
Too true. As long as you're certain you know what you're doing.
I mean, does this look like willow and hazel to you? And they hold them up.
Of course it does, because I helped you find it.
They roll their eyes. Yeah.
But I'm curious if you know how to use it. Anyone can go pick roots.
Do you think that they would have sent me if I didn't know what I was doing?
Maybe I'm just giving you a hard time. Maybe I just want to know if you know things. Maybe I'm paying back some ancient debt because I'm secretly been a ghost this whole time from your past.
Because you've been alive for that long? I understand.
Look at how long my beard is, child. Don't worry, I've already got some herbs for protection. Here. I'll offer you out some wild garlic. Stick this in your mouth. It will help us both. It will protect you from the ghosts and also keep you from talking too much.
Oh god, just garlic. How am I supposed to charm anybody if I chew on this?
You have to charm people now. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was in the middle of
I'm
some
walking
courting.
faster.
He starts to follow. I'm not that old. You can't just walk away from me. I don't have a... Just because I have a walking stick does not mean I
Don't
need
need to be such a mensch about it. We will be fine.
Oh, I'm the mensch.
Yes!
You think you can walk back in like the prodigal child and just, like, fix everything?
Well, I'm not gonna fix everything, but presumably one of these 3 herbs is going to fix... It's gonna put us on the right track, alright?
Just remember, we're in this together. So, if you forget how it works, I'm here as well.
If I need help, I will ask.
Ask anyway. Worrying about.
I'm sorry.
Look at
Oh,
what you're
should I be... I'm sorry, I think I know what you're looking for now. Shawl, would you please help me do my job that I have spent the last 20 years training to do?
I am so glad you asked. I would be happy to.
Okay.
And
Let's
in
get
the
to
meantime, I'll let you maybe clean yourself up if you're trying to be, attracting someone's attention or other.
I was told you guys wanted distractions.
Distractions? Well, if someone catches you out looking like that, they might drag you in and give you a bath.
Looking like what? Like you're one to talk.
Oh, I'm not trying to impress anybody. Anyway, we can make it back to the group. Just speed walking faster.
All right, fair enough. You finish your foot race. I'm gonna say Asher wins. Mostly because Asher is younger and sprier. Okay, you reconvene. You are at the place where the boats pulled up, the boat parking lot. You have these herbs. You have some more information about Father Tomas.
I assume we exchange
Yes.
kind of information.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would let you guys know what herbs I brought back, and what each one's like more specific intended purpose would be. See if anyone has a preference between all those.
No. Can I go back to sleep?
Here.
Been asleep the whole time? You're supposed to be helping the rest of the group.
Oh, yeah, I was helping.
Told her she needed to be rested, just in case we needed another prophecy.
Well, I mean, these are herbs meant for divination, and in my own, I guess, professional opinion, I would recommend that we try the willow first.
Yep, that's what I said.
Well, why don't you go pick us out a boat or something to get to the...
I mean, surely these boats belong to people. We can't just take any of them, can we?
But borrow.
I mean, as long as we bring them back.
That's true.
And you also did take like an additional boat
Yeah.
from Kerholm back over, because you left with the group of 4 and came back with 2 additional people, and so you took an additional boat. So there is an extra boat lying around here. That's Ivar's boat.
We win the map.
Very good. Yeah.
Perhaps we should get in the castle and use the divination to find out where we need to not have the Night's Dig and where we need to.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good.
So we splitting in the same group of 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I know that Asher knows how to use the herbs, but I, Max, don't know how to use the herbs, so that will need to be addressed at some point.
Absolutely. So this is just all about the TRTRPG. So in the W is for witchcraft section, we have a little bit of a sort of expansion of like ways that you might use herbs in sort of fairly like non-specific terms. So you could turn an herb, you could sort of take an herb and infuse it into a znak, which is a charm made out of like clay or beeswax or wood that gives sort of portable protection and sort of last different amounts of time. You can also take that herb and sort of try to use it in something of sort of a more magical with a K ritual to perform some sort of action relating to one of the effects of that herb. So you could perform a divinatory ritual because you have an herb that does divination to see if you could find something.
Okay, I think that would be what I would look to do. And if we I don't know how specific the information the group has on the location of the remains, like how big the like quest area bubble is, but I would like to be within the quest area bubble when we do that.
Yeah,
From what I remember, it was like a fairly large area just underneath the castle, right?
All right, as long as I am in the general vicinity.
If you're near and about Salspell's castle, you should, based on what Layla sort of felt as best she could understand, that should be close enough by far to be able to help you divin where you're looking to go.
Okay. I also would want to try to have some semblance of privacy from the
That
Gentiles.
is going to be harder. That is going to be harder, at least during the daytime, because there are still a lot of soldiers like milling around and like they're antsy to get to digging, and so like some of them are like walking around with like spades and like dabbing the ground, being like, "Is there a bone here? No bones. We're just gonna keep like nervously walking." But you would have a lot more success doing this after dark when the ghosts are around.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the kicker, isn't it?
That is in fact the kicker.
If it's possible.
Yeah.
I had gotten a variety of herbs for warding and protection.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at the Znaki, and I'm trying to pick the best one. I think obviously clay wouldn't work, but I don't know if it would make sense that his walking stick is made of a particular wood type that could take some shavings off the bottom and dip them in the river to get them loosened up, and tie some herbs into a bit of a bundle, a charm like that.
I think that's super sensible. I think that's very sensible. Absolutely.
So I think when we land, he'll leave the group, to go about it, and he'll sit at the edge of the river, or I guess on the boat parking lot, and just kind of whittle a few long scraps of the wood off of his walking stick, dip them into the water to loosen them up, and then make a small bundle of the birch bark. He could just use the birch bark too.
Yeah, that would also work.
He'll use some birch bark with marshmallow and garlic and a birch stick at the center to give it some strength, and just be working on that as the group sorts things out during the day.
Yeah, that sounds great. So for Layla, Alexis, and Eleonora, this will be this will be like a full day trip. Like you will head to Kirkholm, be researching, and then be able to return on the following day. Just because like you got to spend a lot of time reading these old books in Latin, and only one of you can read the books. So that's just gonna take a bunch of time. And so I want to let you know that before you depart.
Yeah, I'll do my best to point out convincing looking pictures.
There are going to be a lot of pictures in this book, mostly marginalia. One last question. You had talked about bringing Ivers back with you. Did you want to do that, or are you going to leave him here?
I think because he wanted to return, right?
Yes.
He's keen on getting out of here now.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, and being that I think the time of talking with the ghost has passed, so
yeah.
It's better to get him out of here so he's not surrounded by the Livonian order.
Fair.
I
Fair.
agree.
All right. You go. You fetch Ivers. Like, yo, you want to head back to her home? Ivers is gonna be like, yeah, probably a good idea. Oh, these ghosts, they're so scary. Ah! For I'm so glad to have had all these big, strong Livonian Order soldiers around to keep an old man safe. I'm sorry, I had something in my mouth. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Row me home.
Oh no!
Uh,
Oh, missing.
He's gonna make his way back. He sees Shawl like sort of working through and fashioning things together, and he's like, ah, sensible, very good. I hope it works.
The next two of us.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I'm surprised you're staying. I think you should leave them to it and come back later when it's just the ghosts. It might be nicer to deal with.
What can I say? They've grown on me.
Better
Oh.
you than me, kid. Better you than me.
Lala Tov.
Okay. You, lad.
Me?
Talking to Alexis.
Oh, Alexis.
Get to rowing.
I'm almost as old as you are at this point.
That's cute.
Gonna have a worse back than the old man there.
That's not true. Well, you will if you keep rowing like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I taught you when we were going back the first way. You've lost it all. You're a terrible fisherman. You're going to make a terrible fisherman.
Look, I'm a farmer.
I hope everyone tells you this.
Right?
That's good.
I work the land, not the sea.
That's good. The land's a lot easier.
The land's less brutal on my back too.
Yeah, if you keep rowing like that, you fucking idiot.
What land are you working?
The land is also bad for your back.
Yeah.
This is also true.
What magical land is everyone's stopping and thinking after hearing that, like,
I want to
magical
work on
land?
that farm.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
like choosing
prop-
the soft soils. You
It's
guys are
just
the ones
like-
hitting the rocks.
Yoga stretching for cherries or something.
Well, it's the land of like the Dyke Cottage Core goals, right? That's the mythical
Yeah.
land that's being worked.
Uh-huh.
Well, I should say probably the White Dyke Cottage Core. Like,
Mm.
anyways, you sail back. Ivars is very happy to be back. Like the kids of the village who are like have been super bored are super excited. They like flock to your boat immediately, and they like just about like carry the man back into town. And like story time. He's like, ugh, but he also loves it. And he settles into back in his chair across the street from the church and gets into telling the old stories. We're gonna jump to Max and Shawl first, and then we will get to the shenanigans in the archives. You have a protective charm fashioned. You have the herbs that you need to perform a divinatory ritual. It's still mid-afternoon. What's next?
Yeah. During the daytime, I would have done whatever other preparation might be necessary for a ritual, both a physical and mental preparation for that. And we've waited until night for privacy, but I still would like to stake out some kind of spot near this castle that I would have like open space to do it. I guess
Sure.
preferably outside, just to
Yeah.
let the aura move fastidiously.
Yeah, so there is the castle is surrounded by a ditch, but there is like enough of a like buildup of earth castle side to walk around the perimeter. And then like the castle itself is left open because he's going to go into the castle when there are a bunch of ghosts around. So it will be very easy for you to get inside and get out.
So you can just go in because people are afraid of ghosts.
Because people are in fact afraid of ghosts. And like there are enough soldiers around during the day that like no one is going to try to go in and start something. And the soldiers are like, if you go in during the castle at night, like you're just an idiot and you're going to die because there are Did you see the ghosts? There are ghosts in the castle. Don't do that. Which is why, as you and Shawl are sort of puttering around the castle, and the sun is getting lower, and the sun is getting lower, and the sun is getting lower, and you're still not leaving, and the soldiers are going to be like, "Are you staying?"
Why? Scared?
Yes. They're ghosts. I know that you're new. You haven't been here. I heard the gossip. You're a doctor, whatever. But like these ghosts, they did kill people, right? Right? Like I have a good friend who was dating this wonderful guy. He's dead. He's really broken up about it. Why are you still here? Just come back to the house. It's much safer. It's much quieter there. We have porridge.
Friends, please. Though Asher is my very, very ambitious and young and poorly dressed, but ambitious friend, is perhaps more brave than clever right now. We do have a plan. Please, return to the home. We would not ask you to stay longer than you need to. We would simply like to get a lay of the land, and we have our own means of escape. Our boat is docked, and we are quite capable of getting back on our own in time.
Only the living have ever hurt me, but my friend here, dressed equally, if not worse than me, has a point about our own plans. I wouldn't want your porridge to get cold. Somebody's got to go eat it, right?
Someone does have to eat it. That's a good point. Soldier does not want to be here. He does not want to stand with you, but he also does not want you to be alone either. Especially after the last time that you were staying out and talking to the ghosts and making some sort of deal, and Jan made a promise to hand the priest over and defile the church. So he is on the fence. Can you give me something stronger to send this man on his way, or to send him on his way in such a way that he doesn't go and immediately tell his commander? Either that can be just rolling some dice to do some more flim-flammy persuasion-y stuff, or using a power.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I use heart to it says comfort or inspire someone?
Absolutely. Great use of this power. Absolutely. What does that look like when you invoke that heart power?
I think Asher is gonna go on a little bit of a tangent about the cooking that they return home to when they go back home, and just the warmth of a meal and how comforting it is after a long day of work.
So
really hyping up that porridge. Yeah.
Power of food, absolutely. This man is gonna go back to the barracks, the repurposed house, and is gonna enjoy that porridge more than they've ever had in their entire life. They're gone. You are alone. It is dusk, and rapidly approaching the hour at which the ghosts historically have risen.
Okay. Let's get this show on the road then, and
right.
I will set up the ritual.
What form of divination did you want to employ? And if you as a human are not super knowledgeable about forms of divination, as I imagine probably a lot of people are not super well read in forms of divination, I'm happy to offer suggestions.
I am extremely secular in real life. So, yeah.
Totally fine. That's totally fine. So there are lots of very cool ways to perform different types of divination. One of the oldest, of course, is geomancy, where you make holes. You take a stick and you sort of poke, and you make
you're asking me
lines.
like what way it comes to.
Yeah, like the
me.
physical manifestation of your divinatory process.
Okay, actually, I think I have something that might be in character because I'm looking for like the location of something. Specifically, I would love to kind of like draw a compass with the cardinal and secondary directions kind of on the ground, and use a pendant of mine to kind of like guide me in the direction.
Escaflowne style. I'm a huge fan of this. Okay. That was a deep cut. Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
your game. You get to make deep cuts.
It's true. I absolutely do. Reference fantastic 1990s anime series. Okay. Absolutely. You scribe your compass down. You fortunately got a lovely setting sun telling you very definitively where west is. You pull out a pendant. What's this pendant?
The pendant is something that Asher has held onto from an older woman who has helped trained him in herbs and apothecary, who has since like passed away pre-plot of all of this. And it's just like a piece of like green fluorite that is kind of polished into a sort of like little pillar and strung onto a chain.
Fantastic. All right, you have your fluorite pendant out. You sort of ceremoniously ignite the which herb are you using for this divination?
I was going to use the willow.
Willow. So you light the willow on fire. You sort of breathe in the smoke. You clear your head of any and all sort of secular and worldly thoughts, and you just let the pendant swing over the compass rose that you have drawn in the dirt. And you feel something of a pull, a tug. Your pendant sort of jitters all over the place. There are a lot of bones here, but as you focus on sort of what is the most accessible bones that you can find, your pendant slowly sort of settles from many points to a few points to a couple points to just one point, and you know psychically sort of where that corresponds to on the interior of the castle. It is... Where is it actually? Let me pull up my map of the castle. Here we are. Well, if we were in person, I would do a really cool die drop, and it would be fabulous. But it's very hard for me to do that and also have the same sort of evocative power. And so I am just going to pick an arbitrary location, and it's going to be delightful. And yeah, so in the castle proper, all of the floors are dirt. And it turns out that the most accessible set of remains are 4 or 5 feet down beneath one of the storerooms.
Okay. Guess we'll need some shovels.
Now, it's taken you, like, this process has taken a great deal of time. About an hour and a half, in fact, of meditation. And so full dark has occurred. And while you were very engrossed in your ritual, Shawl, you heard distantly, but still too close, that terrifying, plaintive wail coming from the direction of the river. That same shriek that you heard and hear every night as the ghosts rise and make their way to the castle.
And he's been kind of busy trying to get these, the charms hung up around maybe entryways and in other parts of the hall as much as he can make. Is obviously not a lot. Probably just 4 or 5 with his materials. But he does still have one. And eventually just quickly like tries to hang one up on like one of the empty hangers, in like some sconce that still has the metal that just holds it up there and starts running back to where he knows Asher is stopping just to like poke head around and make sure he doesn't interrupt anything or run across some, any work. Asher!
I think you kind of see like the hair kind of like frizz / like divination floating and it like falls flat and they look at you. Yeah.
Asher, we need to go.
Now?
Well, we could wait around, have a little chat, we could make fun of each other some more, or we could go and not die.
You don't want to dig this up before they come back in the morning.
Do you have a shovel?
No, but there's probably somewhere around here. I guess they're not going anywhere, but...
Do you know where they are?
Let's go. I don't have time to argue.
You would know where the shovels are kept in the castle because the guards have like been carrying them around and storing them and stuff. But like, do what you want.
Do you know where the bodies are?
Yes, I do. Or I know where a few bodies are, but I know where one is in particular in like a storeroom. Like right underground. There's no tile set down, just ground.
It's one in particular.
It called to me. They called to me, I should say.
Looks back in the direction of the entryway. Just sorry, so I have a full picture. The rest of our group, they are
across the river in Kerholm. The other settlements.
How deep?
4 or 5 feet.
Shorter than me. Yeah.
It's just one. Come on, quick.
It's just one.
It's just one.
Right.
It's just one. I'll
Right.
keep saying that. We'll keep saying that until eventually it's only.
It's the first time they've ever agreed. It's
It's probably going to kill us.
You grab shovels and you hurry to the storeroom. And you sort of you are making your way and wending your way through the castle as you were seeing sort of ethereal figures sort of streak through the main walls of the castle, and you sort of duck inside into the storeroom and you begin to dig at the appropriate spot. And I'm gonna smash cut over to Kerholm and our one scholar and 2 people who want to help really badly.
Yep.
So Ivers is in a position telling stories to all of the kiddos. You make your way inside the church where all of the pews have sort of been like knocked over and pushed together to form this terrible bed that is covered with like all different types of Catholic vestments to form this awful like sweaty cocoon that Father Tomas had been living in the previous month before you found him. There's like holy wine spilled into it, and like other like the remaining supplies of holy wine are like right next to it, ready for drinking. The altar is like there, covered in dust. No one has touched it in like, well, over a month, maybe even longer. It's a lot of dust. The archive and the books in particular that you're looking for are in a storeroom back up behind the nave.
I'm glad I took a nap earlier because I'm not napping here.
No.
Yeah, I would.
You would smell afterwards and maybe have lice.
I'm not napping here. I'm just here to read books.
So there are plenty of candles, fortunately. And at least for the moment, the light is still good. Although if you're going to read for much more than an hour or so, you're going to need those candles. The book that is like probably most relevant is the book that Jan originally found, which is sort of the oldest record of the founding of Kirchholm. And most of the information in here is like, sort of not like the week by week, month by month needs and demands of this brand new church that's been established after the destruction of the Indigenous Peoples Defense Forces. So it's not necessarily the most germane to what you're looking for. Can you formulate sort of really specifically, like what are specifically the things that you're looking for in this research here?
How do we want to?
I mean, really, like any, like, even if there's not something that, like, specifically states, like, the specific steps of, like, how to do a ritual or anything, but, like, if this is a historical record, maybe some type of historical precedent that, like, is alluded to, or something that we could maybe convince them has been done here and is, you know, all right and allowed within the constraints of the faith, you know?
So you're looking for a precedent within the faith for burning the bodies, for burning and not baptizing the bodies of the fallen?
Really anything that isn't baptizing at this point.
Okay, doing anything with people's bodies that's not baptizing them. All right.
Yeah.
So this book is this book is like, I mean, it's a medieval manuscript. Writing is very cramped. It is quite long, and there are lots of other like scraps of vellum, it's parchment, other like smaller books as well that information could be hidden in. Do any of you have what did I call it? The erudition power.
No.
Okay. So all right. Layla, I am going to ask for a roll. And the roll here is, again, it is more about how long is it going to take you to like comb through all of this information and have like at least a rough sense of what is here, let alone like what is going to be directly helpful to this goal. So that is by default just a d20. Things that you have that are advantageous. Well, you have.
I got a 17.
I didn't ask for the roll yet. I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. Okay. Layla, you are no longer Catholic. My notes are out of date. So we have, in fact, no Catholics here helping in the search. We have a Muslim, a Jew, and a Lutheran. Well, yeah, I don't think that you have any benefits or bonuses to the roll, so it's very fortunate that you rolled a 17. So what I'm going to say is by the end of this initial, we're going to say like 6 hours of you reading. So that's reading with whatever daylight you had left and then burning through a bunch of candles. You can tell that it's going to take you probably an additional day to get a really strong sense of what is here and what might be useful. An additional day just to find out what is here, because there's a lot here and there's a lot to go through. And if you think about like going to a library and pulling out an academic text and like trying to work through it, like you can do it. But then also all of the books are in a language that you know poorly. I think an excellent example would be like if you speak Italian and all of the books are in Spanish. Like it's you can decipher enough because the Latin that you're familiar with is not like the Latin of like hundreds of years ago. There's also liturgical Latin, right? So at the end of the night, you know it's going to take you at least another day to get a good sense of what's here. Presumably another day after that to get the evidence that you're looking for.
Okay.
That's your evening as you like digest that bit of bad news. We're gonna smash cut. Oh, that's a hand raise. That looks like a question. What's up
That's
next?
a habit of mine. I know that they're doing research of academic texts. Would they be able?
I'm sorry. That academic text is a metaphor that I am using to explain why, like, reading these church records from several hundred years ago is hard to parse.
Okay.
I didn't make that clear. That's my bad.
My question is like pertinent to the library aspect of it being, would they be able to take materials out, or is it like ancient stuff like no, you absolutely cannot bring this off the premises?
I mean, no one's around to say no.
Yeah.
Okay, because if they brought it back,
Oh, no, they're
I
out.
could also aid in.
Yeah, because we can't ask.
Yeah, if you brought it back, you could aid in reading it. Also, Jan, who is locked in a basement, also can help read and cut that time down as well.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to get through this tonight. So, and this place really smells bad. Can we just take this with us?
I mean, so that's part of my question is, do we know what necessarily we need to take, or how much is there to take?
So this is not like there are a lot of like individual pieces. It's not like a monastery library. This is still a small provincial church. It just has a lot of history. And so in terms of like records, it's like there's like the one big, very old book, and then there are probably like the rest of that information is going to be on like scraps of, it's going to be on like vellum that's been like palimpsested a bunch. So we're talking like, how do I quantify like the volume of that? Like, that's a very like weird thing to have to quantify. It's a lot of bits of, it's a lot of pages of vellum that are mostly loosely and like not bound at all. Imagine it's like 10 or 15 like armfuls of documents.
Okay.
So it is perfectly possible to transport all of that by boat. Just gonna take some doing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to ask you, what was the old man's name?
Ivar's.
His name does not stick in my head for some reason.
Totally fine. Totally fine. The
So-
old man's name is Ivar's.
I think Alexis would approach Ivar's and ask him.
So Ivar's is asleep.
Oh, he's oh yeah,
It's like we're like midnight right now. Everyone is asleep except for you three.
So that's also a question. Is it safe to go across the waters right now?
No, it is not. No, like I did say, like this is going to be an overnight excursion. Like it's not. None of the three of you are particularly boat trained. I don't believe.
No.
Something. You work the land, not the sea.
I mean,
So
Call it
this
work.
is especially not with like cargo that will disintegrate if, or like get severely damaged if it gets wet. Probably not a good choice, but that's something you can talk about and explore in the morning.
So
Now-
I think just
Go
to
ahead.
quickly like cap off what we're gonna do.
Please.
I think organizing them into at least as neat of piles as we can, opening the doors to the front of the church so it airs out, so all this grease and grossness is not there, and then setting up at least like partially outside the church so we don't have to sleep in there tonight.
yeah,
So I think
that's a good
that's
plan.
the general
At some
plan.
point during this, probably one of like the household like tenders would have like come by and been like, "You don't want to sleep in there. Like I can smell that from down the street. You don't want to sleep in there." Like no one locks their doors because we're an island community. Like
Mhm.
whatever. I have like, I have a loft or whatever you can go and crash at that is uncomfortable but is not sleeping in the church. on the nest of vestments.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have a not terrible place to sleep. That would have been taken care of for you. They also would have prepared like some amount of food that is very cold now, but like is still food.
But yeah, so organizing, leaving the doors to the church open, still gonna air that out.
Yeah.
And then getting ready to go back in the morning and group
think
project this.
I think it needs
Yeah.
to be aired out a lot longer than overnight, but
We're not closing the doors. It's staying open till the group gets back.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, as we all go to sleep, I didn't want to like disturb the flow of like everyone's conversation because they were all very good points and questions. I did want to bring up that for character creation, Eleonora is Orthodox. I'm not entirely sure if that changes anything.
No, I'm so sorry. You are correct. I misread where I was looking in my section.
Like, I doubt it would change much, but on the off chance.
Because Janie rolled a 17, which is a success, like, you adding an additional d6, which, like, would be willing to sort of to throw in there as a bone, would not have mattered.
Okay, great.
But I really appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, no
Thank
worries.
you for doing that. Okay, now, lamentably, it is 8 o'clock, which is the end of our session time. And so we are going to need to leave Asher and Shawl digging furiously and surrounded by ghosts, while the rest of their family sleep either in captivity, home safe, or on an island loft. Also way safer. And we will have to get back to the two of you in 2 weeks.
Oh boy.
Which is lots of fun. You know, something to stress about. Something to stress about, you know, for the next while. You know, as a treat, I do like to give people what they want, and what they want is stress. But I think that's gonna do it for our session for now. So, as always, I will get updated list of events up onto the website, so I encourage you to go and check that out and refresh. You can also check our wonderful list of NPCs, as well as all of the house rules and additional supplements that we are using. We've got to use a lot of those this session, which is delightful. And now let's do sort of our outros.
All right.
TJ, who are you? How can the people find you?
So my name's TJ. I go by he, him, played Alexis, he, him pronouns. Where you can find me is in 2 weeks back here because I don't do anything else. This is it. Outside of that, if you want to see some dumb tweets and things that I retweet and some risque likes, follow me on Twitter at Mr. Rogers_TJ. And that's all I got.
And again, I love that this is the outro at this point. This is just the standard. It's so good. Hey everybody, it's me, Sir Heckelite. Tonight I played Eleonora, and the two of us use she, they pronouns. You can find me on all the social medias at Sir Heckelite, including Twitch, Itch, Twitter, Instagram. I'm all over the place. Just find me. It's the best place to figure out where I'm going to be in the TTRPG space next, because I tend to wander a whole lot. But at least for this week, I'm not wandering too far. Because on Friday you can catch myself and Janie right back here for Cold Hands, Warm Hearts, a Rhyme of the Frost Maiden campaign. On Saturday you can catch me over on Indoor Adventures for the finale of our 1986 West End Ghostbusters campaign. We're gonna face the big bad ghost guy, and it's gonna be wild. I'm very excited. I have a whole bunch of other stuff going on. So just follow the social medias to figure out where they're going to be. And I do want to shout out, as a reminder to all of our players in the community, that we are casting right now for a bunch of Pride one-shots. So go and check that out in the community server, please, because we have a bunch of dates open, so hopefully a bunch of tables, including a game show hosted by yours truly that is going to be a lot like Jeopardy, but with a bunch of random nerdy topics, all centered around Pride. So yeah, go check that stuff out. I think that's about it. Over to Turk.
Oh, hi. That's me. I didn't. Yeah. Words. Sorry. Hi. I am Turk or Turk accented, but only when I'm being chased by ghosts in Eastern European castles. It's the only time. No other instance. Other than some other times, but we can get to that later.
The rest of the time he's just a truck.
Yeah. Just truck. No, I was playing Shaw. We both have he, him pronouns. I'm so glad we got so many cool people to hang out. I'm so happy that our new member of the group has been blended in so well, and all we had to do was be mean to each other. The key to all friendships.
If that ain't Jewish, I don't know what is.
If you want to see more of me, you can, of course, find me tomorrow on Lost Caravan, where I am the keeper for the Caravan of Cthulhu, a series of one-shots. This is going to be the second episode, so it will be the same group of players with some new characters, because last episode, well, things happened. But now, they'll all be totally fine. Probably. Only one way to find out. Beyond that, the 29th, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so used to every day being a stream. It's not. It's wow. On the 29th, for your Memorial Day, once you are done having a great day off, be sure to join us back here, Neon Lights, for Oathsworn, the Dragon Lords, which is my Greek mythology, high fantasy, mishmash together, had an awesome baby, filled it with a bunch of players, and we have a really good time making each other happy sad. So if you like that, if you like epic stories, then I think you'd like that. The 30th, so next week I'll be over on Lost Caravan with moving up to the end of the Nova series that we had over there, which, if you haven't seen, has been really great. It's an excellent system, and is super cool. I'll also be over there June 1st for Delta Green and Impossible Landscapes, which is another really great series that I've been very lucky to be a part of. And on the 6th, we'll be right back here to find out what happens next, because I will be here. I'll be waiting. If I could wait in this call and just close my eyes and have it be next time, honestly, that'd be fine, because I need it. Oh, okay. But yeah, make sure you support all the awesome people you see on your screen here. They are all incredible creators. And of course, shout out to our awesome game runner for putting together and dealing with our shenanigans. Because you're the best. Anyway, way too long. Please, Jenny, save me. Start talking.
I already went.
No, you can't get me twice. Fool me once. Never get fooled again.
Janie, I freeze up when I want to spot because I don't know what to say, even though I know what to say. There's games coming up. Be excellent to each other.
Heard.
I'm Max. You can find me anywhere that I want you to find me on the internet at Arcane Goth. Right now, I'm a little low on the stream count. I am on staff over at TTRPG on Twitch. We have some fun Pride stuff coming up, as well as Fayfair, which will be a charity event supporting Trans Lifeline in July for our channel runner/owner Nikki's birthday. It was successful last year, and hopefully it will be successful this year as well. I'm also on staff over at Apochramatic, which is a BIPOC gaming community and collective, and I am in a pre-recorded campaign of Court of Blades, which I've been waiting for us to actually release because I'm obsessed with my character. I literally drew him, had the picture printed out, and put it on my fridge. That is how obsessed I am with this character. Only shy of my first D&D character, who I named a fish after. So look out for that game. I think it's really fun and good, and hopefully I'll see you all here more in the future as well.
Fantastic. And I am Danielle Osterman. I'm the facilitator, and also I made the setting, and I wrote the Tarot RPG from A to Zine, which we used a bunch. You could buy my stuff. That would be cool. Yeah, thank you for all these wonderful people for a wonderful session. I'm very excited for 2 weeks from now. We get to pick things up and see who dies. I mean, no one's going to die. It's fine. Everything is fine. And then I think that's... all right, where can you find me? You can find me on Tumblr at ostermad-blog, or you can go check out my game's website, which is also the website for this stream. It's got a whole bunch of information. I've plugged it like twice already. Got recaps, got NPC lists, it's got house rules, all kinds of really good, great information. Also got links to all of the stream VODs as they go up on YouTube. So if you missed a session and you want to hear all of our beautiful voices and see all of our pretty faces, you can go to the website and click on the links, and that will send you to the YouTube. And then you can avail yourself of our pretty voices and of our pretty faces. Before I let you all go, I just want to wish all of the Jews out there a good Shavuos, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, friends.